Hydrolysis of ATP. Hydrolysis of ATP. This is one of the most important knowledge a biologist should have. Now, there is something that normally confuses learners of biology. We normally tell them that ATP, when broken down to ADP plus an inorganic phosphate, then energy is liberated. But there arises a question. A student can ask you a question here. Master or madam, if ATP is broken, if we break its bond, for example, one of its bonds, to form NDP and inorganic phosphate, energy is liberated. Then how comes that from thermochemistry? How comes that bond breakage is endothermic, not exothermic? Because that's the chemistry. To break a bond, you apply energy called bond energy. Now, bond dissociation energy. Now, this bond breaks down. It means it is an endothermic process. Now, we would not expect energy to be liberated here if bond breakage was endothermic. In other words, energy would be consumed. But we are seeing energy being on the right-hand side of the equation, meaning it's being liberated there. Now, that question, the answer to such a question, any student of biology may be having such a question, is that ATP breakdown is not lysis. Such a puzzle would come if the breakage of this bond is lysis. To lysis is to just break. ATP breakage is an enzyme catalyzed reaction, but it involves water, meaning it is ATP plus water. So the process is hydrolytic. It's hydrolytic process. Okay. Now, in presence of an ATPase enzyme. So such an ATPase enzyme catalyzes the water molecule to come and attack these bonds in ATP to form for us ADP plus an inorganic phosphate. Okay, then plus energy. So the answer is, the reason as try to break a bond of ATP will liberate energy. The reason is here. This bond is not breaking in the form of lysis, just cutting down. Visualize lysis as getting a knife and you cut. It is a hydrolytic reaction which is enzyme catalyzed. So in such a scenario, when water comes and attacks these bonds here, bonds break. But the breakage of the bond is exothermic. So energy is liberated. This energy is coupled to useful work, as we shall be seeing in the long run in the discussion. Now, ATP is a nucleotide. It is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. That name is very interesting. Adenosine is from adenine, meaning there is a nucleoside. Which nucleoside? A nucleoside of adenine linked to a particular adenine linked to ribose. So ATP contains what? ATP is made up of ribose sugar plus a phosphate group plus a nitrogen base So that is our ATP. It is made up of ribose sugar, which is a pentose sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogen base. And this nitrogen base here is a purine, adenine. Okay. Now, what happens? A purine here, we shall have here, is adenine. adenine, which is this is our adenine. This is our adenine. This is our adenine. So adenine, this one is our adenine here. This one is our adenine here. Our adenine here. So this is our adenine. It has an imidazole ring. An imidazole ring. This is hydrogen. This one is hydrogen. So this is carbon. This is atom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, there is hydrogen here to make that carbon atom also happy. So this is our adenine, which you can also call 6-aminopurine. So now what happens at nitrogen number 9, atom 9 here, there is ribose sugar linked there. There is ribose sugar linked there. So what happens is that we are removing this whatever, that bond there. So there we are going to have our ribose here. We are going to have our ribose here. Each corner is a carbon atom. We are going to have our ribose there. So here we have hydrogen. So here we shall have an OH group, hydrogen, then OH group, then hydrogen. So we shall have hydrogen, then here we shall have here we shall have an OH group. So we shall have a carbon atom here, a carbon atom here. Now at this position here, we would have an OH group here, but now the oxygen is bonded to the phosphate. So this is the first phosphate, the second phosphate group. I don't know whether you are seeing. Now this is those are the phosphate groups on ATP. They are under physiological conditions. They are charged, meaning ATP is a highly charged molecule, ATP 4-. Okay, highly charged molecule. Now, are you seeing this first phosphate group next to the pentose sugar ribose? It is the alpha phosphate. The next one is the beta phosphate. The third one is the gamma phosphate. Now, these are phosphodiester bonds. This is a phosphoester bond. This one is a phosphoester bond. This one here, there is oxygen here. Sorry, there is oxygen there in the middle there, just like here. This one is a phosphoester bond there. So what happens is that the bond between alpha and beta plus the bond between beta and gamma, they are the ones which are broken. They are the ones which are high energy bond. Master, why is it that ATP is broken down to liberate energy? It is broken down to liberate energy such that it becomes it produces products which are thermodynamically stable, which are very stable. In chemistry, the lower the energy possessed by a molecule, the more stable is the molecule. The higher the energy possessed by a molecule, the more unstable the molecule. So the more the phosphate groups on the molecule, the more the energy carried by such a molecule, then it becomes very unstable. So the bonds are broken down to spontaneously, of course, liberating energy to get products which are very stable thermodynamically. So what happens is that ATP, to break it down, of course, plus water, to break it down by hydrolysis, hydrolysis plus water to liberate ADP plus an inorganic phosphate plus energy. Now, the first bond which is broken in this equation here, it is the bond between beta and gamma. This one here is the one which is bond or whatever. And the energy liberated is approximating to 30.5 kilojoules per mole. 30.5 kilojoules per mole. Okay? That's very important to understand. So now, this ADP, the ADP plus water to form AMP, adenosine monophosphate, plus an inorganic molecule, phosphate, then also liberates 30.5 kilojoules per mole. Okay? Overall, if we add them, it means if we write an overall equation, it will mean that ATP plus water, we shall liberate, of course, in presence of an enzyme, we shall liberate AMP plus a pyrophosphate. A pyrophosphate, it means two inorganic phosphates combined together. Then we shall liberate energy approximating to 61 kilojoules per mole. So that is the energy that is liberated from the hydrolysis of ATP, this wonderful molecule, ATP or adenosine triphosphate. To hydrolyze it in presence of ATPase enzyme, then this is the amount of energy involved. Master, this energy is needed for what? It is needed for active processes. I answer you, it is needed for inactive processes. For example, muscle contraction. Muscles have to contract as you are writing. Muscles are contracting, relaxing, what have you, as you are carrying something. Muscle contraction, it is needed in biosynthesis. Many molecules are being made, but in presence of they need ATP for them to be synthesized. Master, for example, what? For example, proteins. For example, protein synthesis, and very many other whatever. This energy you see here, it is needed in lipid metabolism. It is needed in lipid metabolism. For example, during the beta oxidation of fatty acids to liberate energy, you have to invest in ATP. Also during glycolysis, it is needed to trigger glycolysis. Glycolysis cannot occur if you don't invest in ATP molecules. So it's very important there. It is needed for active transport. It is very important that ATP is also important there when it comes to active transporting materials against their concentration gradients. But also, some of the energy, that's why we are saying that this one is about some energy which is being whatever during the synthesis of ATP. Some of the energy as it is being hydrolyzed to do this whatever there and etc. and many other whatever there. What happens is that some of the energy can be lost as heat. Now, this energy lost as heat can also be involved in temperature regulation. Especially when it comes to endotherms like us, where we need to maintain a relatively constant body temperature, so that energy is very vital there. Otherwise, that is very important. This is what we can discuss about ATP. So ATP is known as a universal energy carrier molecule. It's not only the energy carrier molecule in the body. Many molecules have got energy, include every molecule that has got bonds has got energy, because bonds are energy. Okay, but especially when it comes to phosphated molecules like an ADP, like an AD, all of them have got energy. But why ATP? We also have guanosine triphosphate. It is also an energy carrier molecule. But why is it that ATP is central to our discussion of biology? It's that ATP is small. First of all, it is small in size. It can easily cross the mitochondrial membranes to come to the cytosol to carry out useful work. Then another thing is that ATP is easily hydrolyzed. Why? The enzymes catalyzing hydrolysis of ATP are almost everywhere within cells, meaning the enzymes are very abundant within cells. During the course of evolution, we evolved very many enzymes that can catalyze hydrolysis of ATP. Unlike guanosine triphosphate, which can be hydrolyzed but in presence of particular enzymes, not everywhere. That's why even when it comes to respiration, you find the DTP somewhere localized within complex 2, of the electron transport chain. That's where you find that also that whatever also synthetic dehydrogenase. That's where you find that kind of DTP. But ATP is everywhere. It means it's very important. That's why it is important to our discussion. Thank you very much. These videos are on my channel, Biology King Yugi, on YouTube and also on TikTok. But on TikTok, I don't post full videos. Full videos will be on YouTube. So follow for more, like, share, call friends to follow my channel. We develop our YouTube channel and also the TikTok channel. We pass biology to the entire world. Many people are yearning for biology, and biology is very central to our whatever. So invite your sisters, your friends, whatever, both students and non-students, to follow my discussions. They are very important. That's what I can add to my country. Thank you very much.